is Marco Hansell. I run a company called Speaker. Speaker is a social influencer technology, so it finds the most influential people on every social media platform and then matches them up with brands to become their endorsers. Probably just moving into our new office. It was a moment where we had been in our first office and been outgrowing it continually, getting more and more people. And then we got into the new office, and now it's like one that we custom built all for ourselves. And I remember literally sitting and getting a little frustrated because the telephone lines weren't working and everything wasn't really going right. And one of my friends who also works at the company told me to just sit down for a moment. He was like, Marco, just look around. And just absorb what you've done. This came from an idea in your living room and now it's real. So don't fret and stress about the little simple things. So it was a very personal moment, but it was a cool accomplishment. I was in Miami and I was walking along the beach. I was just thinking about my current business because at the time I was doing digital strategy for a lot of artists and entertainers, and my mind was thinking about the stuff that I was doing for the artists, which we had built out a digital street team platform where you could take an artist's fans and mobilize them to get points and then get signed merch from the artist. And our minds was wait a second, this stuff is working for the talent, but what if we turn that same formula over to brands? And we said, well, what if we could mobilize fans of big brands to actually do things in social and tap them in mass, and we could create the largest word-of-mouth platform in the world. So I remember I talked to my dad, and I was so excited, ridiculously excited. And I went to him and I was like, Dad, tell me, I got this. I've been doing all this stuff with these artists, but there's something way bigger than this. And we can take this thing and we build it, we blow it up. And I was so excited. And my dad, if you ask him, he'll tell you, he's I have no idea what he's talking about. He's but I could tell from his energy that it was gonna be something big. And I went and I started that night, I believe, coding the first version of the website that became Speaker today. At the end of the day, I think one of the things that has carried me so much in my walk in this business has been an overwhelming amount of persistence, confidence, and faith that me doing the right thing is always going to allow me to get through. But there's a specific moment I remember when I started the business, and we had been running for maybe about 6 or 7 months. And there was a point where it might have been March or so, March 30th or something, and rent's due on the next day, and I'm looking at my Bank of America account, and I've got a whopping negative $4,000 in the bank, about to pay rent, and then I have to continue paying everything for the business because I basically was bankrolling it all, and I was super calm. And don't tell me why. I wasn't doing any drugs, so it wasn't anything crazy. But I had this level of confidence knowing that the business that I had created was something that should carry through. I was doing all the right things. I was working as hard as I could. I had left it all on the field. So I was just going to believe that things were going to work themselves out. And it's not to make you believe in pipe dreams as much as to just have confidence that if you're doing the right thing, things do tend to fall into place. So it happened that I got a call the next day when all my rent was due, all my bills were due, from a guy that I met that lived in New York, and I never even met him in person, right? I just met him over the phone, and he had been talking about investing in the companies, and he said, Marco, he's I don't know what it is about you. I've never written a check to anybody that I've never met in person, but something tells me that you're gonna work, right? And that this is gonna be a big idea. So he wired me $20,000 that day, just in the nick of time. If it had been one day short, it wouldn't have been able to be the story that it is today. And we took that 20 grand and I turned it to $1.8 million over the next 18 months. So it was one of those little saving grace moments that was just enough to get me over the edge and to get me the right type of resources I needed to succeed. looking at your environment and realizing sort of the limitless potential that you have and not doubting yourself, because oftentimes what people will do is you'll either place like a barrier in front of you of, I need this much money in order to do this, or I need to know this certain person in order to do this. And oftentimes all that is it just creates this expectation and this fear. So there's an expectation that I have to get somewhere else because I need that person, or I need to rely on something external to get somewhere, and then a fear that I won't really achieve something if it doesn't happen in this particular path, right? So when you set in your mind, like, this is the way things are supposed to go, and if it doesn't happen this way, then it's not gonna happen, then you can defeat yourself before you even start. So I know, imagining, sitting in the shoes of being broke in, like, your first thing is, well, once I get like this right job, and then I can save up enough money, and then, I gotta take care of this, and then this will happen, and then I need to go to school here, and then I need to do this. And there are so many people that have hit their level of success with a completely unplanned stroke of genius. And you can do the same. And that genius does not have to be some masterful thing. It can oftentimes be just doing it. And part of what I've learned in my process is, I sort of told you guys the abridged version. I gave you the version of, here's the business that did become successful. There's a ton of things I've done that completely failed, that did not work out, and it didn't discourage me. It became the thing that toughened me, that hardened me, that allowed me to continue to learn and to move forward. And you'll have those experiences whether you're broke or you have a lot of money. It's still going to be a learning path, so don't let it discourage you. Let's see, the only things I really do now is I'll post on Instagram at mhansell, which is Hansell, or I just recently started being more aggressive with my Snapchats a little bit, which is Mr. Hansell as well, and sometimes I'll drop little nuggets of wisdom. Yeah, go to Speaker.com and you can see more about us, and each one of the social handles are the same thing, Speaker.